There is a divine law that governs all things seen and unseen, a perfect balance that ensures no loss can ever be final, and no absence can diminish what is truly yours by right of consciousness. What departs from your life, whether it be a person, a situation, or an opportunity, goes because it is no longer aligned with the higher pattern being prepared for you. When one door closes, it is because a greater door waits to be opened, a door no human hand can shut. In the realm of spirit, nothing is ever truly taken from you. What is yours in divine right cannot be stolen, delayed, or withheld. When people walk away, it is often because they are not capable of walking with you into the next chapter of your unfolding good. Their leaving is not a loss but a release, clearing the way for those who will see your light without fear, who will honor your presence without hesitation, who will recognize your worth without comparison. Regret belongs to those who fail to recognize the gift while it is present. It is the echo of a soul that once stood in the radiance of your being, but could not hold it, could not nurture it, could not rise to meet it. Yet their regret is not your burden, for your path is ordered by something far greater than their choices. The law of love and harmony ensures that those who fail to value you only make space for those who will treasure you rightly. You are not diminished by rejection, for rejection is but a redirection. You are not lessened by absence, for absence merely magnifies the essence of what remains eternal in you. You are a center of power, a vessel of wisdom, a living expression of abundance and beauty. Whoever cannot remain by your side has chosen to step away from the banquet of blessings that flow through your life. Their regret is the natural harvest of seeds they themselves have sown. Stand therefore in quiet confidence, knowing that the universe never subtracts without multiplying, never takes without restoring in greater measure. Your task is not to mourn the departure, but to bless it and release it, affirming that only the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances can remain with you. When one chapter ends, it is because a brighter chapter is already written, waiting for the turn of the page. Those who let go of you will one day awaken to the truth of what they once had, and their regret will echo in the silence you leave behind. But you will not be found in regret. You will be found in joy, in freedom, in fulfillment, for you have aligned yourself with the higher law that never fails. What leaves your life is not loss, but release. Many people live in fear of letting go, believing that when something departs, it is the end of their good. They cling to relationships, positions, friendships, habits, and possessions long past the time of their usefulness, as if holding on could change what has already shifted in the unseen order of things. Yet life is always in motion, governed by laws far deeper than the surface appearances of chance. What seems like an ending is not a theft, it is not a punishment, it is not even a diminishment. It is the universe making space, cleansing the path, clearing what no longer serves the higher pattern of your destiny. When something leaves, it is not a loss, it is a release. The gentle hand of spirit moving what is misaligned away from you, so that what is aligned may come nearer. Loss is a word born of the human mind. For the mind measures what has been taken, but cannot see what is already on the way. Release is the word of the spirit. For spirit knows that everything is energy, and energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. A relationship that ends is energy transformed. An opportunity that closes is energy transformed. A friendship that dissolves is energy transformed. Nothing is gone. It is simply moved, shifted, rearranged into a new form that will better serve your growth, your unfolding, your joy. The one who trusts this law does not grieve as others grieve, for they know that no good can ever be withheld and no blessing can ever be denied. So many remain bound because they confuse possession with purpose. They believe that keeping a person, a job, or an object is what guarantees their security, but true security is never found in clinging. True security is found in alignment with divine order. To hold too tightly is to block the current. Imagine a river. If you cling to a rock in the middle of the stream, you may feel anchored, but you stop yourself from moving forward with the flow. The current cannot take you to wider waters, until you release your grip. And so life often removes the rock from beneath your hands, forcing you to trust the flow you resisted. What felt like being abandoned was, in truth, being carried. Release is often misunderstood because it comes clothed in the garment of pain. The human heart aches when it feels separation. But the ache is not because you have been deprived. The ache comes because you have mistaken the temporary vessel for the eternal source. The person who left was never the source of your love. The job that ended was never the source of your abundance. The circumstance that shifted was never the source of your peace. These were channels, and when one channel closes, another must open. For the source is infinite and inexhaustible. To mourn the channel is natural, but to worship the channel is bondage. The wise soul learns to bless the channel, thank it for the season it served, and release it so that the source may express in new and greater ways. What leaves is sometimes taken gently, and sometimes it is torn away suddenly, but the principle is the same. Release is always for your good. If you look back with clarity, you will see how many times you clung to what you thought you needed, only to discover later that its departure made you freer, lighter, stronger. You will see how often what you once called loss became the seed bed of your next victory. The tears of yesterday watered the soil for tomorrow's harvest. What you thought was the end of your story was simply the end of a paragraph, the turning of a page. Release is also protection. There are those who cannot walk with you into the higher realms of your calling. There are environments that cannot sustain the expansion of your vision. There are patterns that cannot live in the new atmosphere of your growth. If they remain, they restrict. If they cling, they choke. So the hand of spirit removes them, not to punish you, but to protect you. To keep something that is not meant to stay is to bind yourself to stagnation. But to let it go is to honor your own evolution. You do not have to understand the timing. You do not have to approve of the method. You do not even have to like the feeling. But you can trust the principle. What leaves is not loss, it is release. When you shift your view in this way, you stop asking, "Why did they go?" and begin affirming, "Something greater is on the way." You stop seeing yourself as abandoned and start seeing yourself as realigned. You stop holding on to what has departed and open your hands to receive what is arriving. Release transforms grief into expectancy, transforms sorrow into faith, transforms regret into readiness. The mind may argue, insisting that something valuable has been taken. But the truth is that nothing truly valuable can ever be lost. If it is truly yours by divine right, it will remain, or it will return, or it will be replaced by something even greater. If it does not remain, if it does not return, it was not truly yours, and you are free. This freedom is not emptiness, it is the fertile space into which new life is planted. Just as a field must be cleared of last season's stalks before new seed can be sown, your life must be cleared of what is finished before new blessings can root. Release is the secret doorway to increase. What departs creates the opening for what is destined. What feels like subtraction is preparation for multiplication. What seems like emptiness is the rich soil of fulfillment. The soul that understands this walks forward without fear, knowing that every departure is a sacred exchange, every ending a divine appointment, every closing a hidden beginning. Regret belongs to those who failed to value your presence. When someone does not recognize the gift standing before them, they often treat it lightly, dismiss it, or assume it will always remain available. But the moment they realize that the door has closed, that your presence has withdrawn, that the light they once stood in is no longer shining for them, regret begins to stir in their heart. Regret is the echo of unrecognized treasure, the weight of missed opportunity, the heavy silence that follows careless words or neglected actions. It does not belong to you. For you gave your presence, you offered your time, your energy, your love, your light. Regret belongs to the one who could not see clearly, who did not honor what was before them, who mistook the extraordinary for the ordinary. Your presence is not something common. It carries with it your essence, your wisdom, your energy, your compassion, your laughter, your unique vibration that no other soul can replicate. When you give of yourself, you are giving something sacred, and those who receive it are standing in a field of blessing, whether they know it or not. If they take it for granted, it does not mean your presence lost its value, it only means they lacked the eyes to see and the heart to receive. Regret awakens later, when the absence of your presence reveals what they once had. It is often only in silence that the song is remembered, only in darkness that light is cherished, only in emptiness that fullness is understood. Regret does not belong to the giver. The one who gives, who shares, who loves, who stands with authenticity, carries no debt. You have sown seeds, you have poured water, you have given light. If the soil was unprepared, if the ground was stony, if the field was careless, the lack of harvest is not your failure. Regret belongs to the field that could not receive the seed. The harvest missed is not a loss to the sower, it is a loss to the ground that rejected nourishment. The giver walks forward free, while the one who failed to value is left to taste the bitterness of regret. Regret belongs to those who assume that love will always wait, that kindness will always return, that presence will always remain. Yet life is not a stagnant pool, it is a flowing river, always moving, always shifting. Presence is a river, and when it flows away, it does not turn back because someone suddenly discovered its worth. The one who failed to value while it was flowing will only have memories of its coolness. Regret becomes their companion, for they had a treasure and treated it as dust, they had gold and mistook it for stone. When someone regrets losing you, it is not because you diminished. It is because they miscalculated. They believed they could withdraw, dismiss, or neglect without consequence. They thought your light was like the sun, guaranteed to rise again for them. They did not understand that your light is not commanded by their will, but guided by divine order. When your presence is withdrawn, it is because the chapter is finished, the lesson is complete, and your energy has been called elsewhere. Regret is their recognition of what was lost, not because you vanished, but because they failed to see the truth while it was near. It is important to understand that regret is a teacher, but it does not teach you, it teaches the one who failed to value. Regret awakens them to the reality of what they mishandled. Regret forces them to remember, to reconsider, to replay every moment in their minds, to see clearly what they were blind to before. This is not your burden to carry. You do not live in their memory, you do not dwell in their regret. You live in the present flow of spirit, always moving toward greater expressions of love, abundance, and joy. Regret is their shadow, following them as a reminder of what they once held and failed to honor. Do not confuse their regret with your responsibility. It is not your role to ease their burden, to soften their lessons, or to reopen doors that divine law has already closed. Regret serves a purpose in their journey, to show them that dishonor carries a cost, that blindness carries a consequence, that neglect bears fruit of emptiness. Your presence was a blessing, your departure is a teaching, and their regret is the tuition of their awakening. They may not admit it aloud, they may not show it openly, but in the stillness of their own hearts, regret whispers constantly. It reminds them of the warmth they lost, the laughter that no longer fills their space, the wisdom that no longer speaks into their life. Regret is often silent, but it is not powerless. It reshapes people, it humbles them, it softens their pride. Some may try to numb it, to bury it, to cover it with noise or distraction, but regret lingers. It waits. It replays scenes like a film in the quiet hours, showing them how they should have spoken, how they should have chosen differently, how they should have valued you when they had the chance. Yet this is not your concern, for your path is not to sit in the theater of their memory, but to walk boldly into the unfolding future that awaits you. When you understand this principle, you release yourself from the heaviness of trying to prove your worth to anyone. You no longer beg for recognition. You no longer chase after validation. You no longer cling to those who cannot see clearly. You know that if your presence is not valued, it is not your worth that is diminished but their sight that is clouded. Regret belongs to them, and you do not need to rescue them from it. In fact, regret may be the very medicine their soul requires to awaken to greater awareness in the future. To stand firm in this truth is to stand in dignity. You become unshaken by rejection, unbroken by neglect, untouched by dismissal, because you know your worth is not negotiable, your presence is not common, and your essence cannot be diminished. Regret is the evidence left behind, proof that what they once held was a treasure. It belongs to them, because they are the ones who failed to honor it, and it will walk with them as long as they need the reminder. Rejection is redirection toward your greater good. To the surface mind, rejection feels like a wound, an insult, a closed gate that denies entry. It shakes the ego, because the ego longs for acceptance, longs for approval, longs to be chosen. Yet beneath that sting lies a deeper order, a sacred orchestration that knows exactly what belongs and what must pass by. When a door closes, when a hand turns away, when a voice says no, it is not the end of your path, but the guiding of your steps toward a higher place. What appears as denial is often protection. What looks like dismissal is often preparation, and what feels like rejection is, in truth, redirection. You may believe that what you sought was perfect for you, that the person, the role, the opportunity was the answer you needed. The human mind is limited. It sees only the immediate picture, the single frame of the story. Spirit sees the entire canvas, every brushstroke, every color that has yet to appear. What you thought was essential may have been a distraction. What you believed was security may have been a snare. What you desired so deeply may have been too small for the greatness prepared for you. Rejection steps in not as an enemy, but as a messenger that whispers, "This is not your path, for your path is higher." Think of how many times in life the thing denied became the very proof of protection. A job you were not offered, only to later see the company crumble. A relationship that turned you away, only to later realize it could never have matched the fullness of your spirit. A door that remained locked, only for a grander door to open elsewhere. In the moment, the heart felt the sting, but in hindsight, the soul saw the wisdom. Rejection is never cruelty when viewed through the lens of divine order. It is always a redirection toward something greater than you imagined. The human spirit often resists this truth, because it clings to what it can see. To be told no feels like a stripping away of possibility. Yet every no clears the way for a better yes. Every time you are turned away, you are also being turned toward. The law of circulation does not permit emptiness without replenishment. When one thing departs, another approaches. When one channel closes, another is prepared. Rejection is simply the moment of transition between what is too small and what is truly yours. Consider how the seed is rejected by the soil. It is buried, pressed down, seemingly denied the light. Yet it is in that rejection that transformation begins. The seed must be hidden, must be unseen, must be denied the surface in order to break open and grow into what it was destined to become. If the soil had accepted it as it was, the seed would remain only a seed. But rejection demanded change, demanded expansion, demanded the birth of something greater. So it is with the soul. The rejections you experience are not the end of your story. They are the pressure points that break open your potential, forcing growth you would not have chosen in comfort. To understand rejection as redirection is to shift from bitterness to trust. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you affirm, "This happened for me." Instead of mourning what you did not receive, you begin anticipating what must be on its way. Faith begins where sight ends, and rejection is the sacred space where sight is dim, but trust must shine. You may not yet see the good toward which you are being directed, but you can know with certainty that it exists. For the universe does not subtract without multiplying, does not close without opening, does not deny without preparing. Rejection is also refinement. It polishes your clarity, strengthens your resilience, and sharpens your discernment. When someone or something turns you away, you learn to no longer measure your worth by outside acceptance. You discover that your value is inherent, not dependent on who applauds or who withholds approval. Each rejection becomes a mirror, showing you not what you lack, but what you must release. The sting fades, but the lesson remains. You are being guided to something better, something greater. Something that could not arrive had you remained fixated on what you thought you needed. Rejection is also revelation. It reveals the true hearts of others, shows you where you were not honored, where you were not recognized, where you were not valued. Had you been accepted into places where your light was dimmed, you would have settled for less than you deserved. Rejection unmasks illusions. It shows you that not everyone has the capacity to walk with you. Not every space can hold your essence. Not every opportunity aligns with your higher path. By closing the door, life spares you from misplacement. For being misplaced is more painful than being momentarily turned away. Rejection strengthens the soul in ways acceptance never could. Acceptance comforts, but rejection transforms. Acceptance allows you to remain, but rejection compels you to grow. Acceptance tells you that you fit where you are, but rejection tells you that you were made for more. In this way, rejection becomes a sacred gift, though it arrives in the wrapping of pain. The wise heart learns to bless even the rejections, knowing they are not obstacles but signposts. They point the way forward, even when the way is hidden. Imagine a traveler seeking the right path. Along the journey, some roads are blocked, some gates are shut, some trails are impassable. The traveler may sigh, may feel weary, but each closed path saves them from wasting time on roads that do not lead to their destination. So too with the soul. Rejection is the closing of roads that lead nowhere, ensuring that you remain aligned with the road that leads to your purpose. The traveler does not curse the closed gate, they thank it for keeping them from straying. Rejection is not a verdict of your worth. It is a redirection of your steps. What turns you away today is only guiding you to what is truly aligned with your tomorrow. Every no you encounter is shaping the path toward the right yes. Every door that closes behind you is positioning you for the door that will open ahead. Rejection strips away what is not meant for you, not to leave you empty, but to leave you ready. The universe never subtracts without multiplying. What appears to the human mind as loss, as decrease, as the removal of something once cherished, is only the outer picture of a deeper process where greater good is being prepared. The finite mind counts subtraction as diminishment, yet the infinite mind knows that subtraction is the beginning of expansion. When something leaves, when something is taken, when something dissolves from your life, it is never the end of your abundance. It is the shifting of the channels through which abundance will flow. The principle is eternal. Every space cleared must be filled. Every vacuum draws in new substance. Every ending signals a greater unfolding waiting to take shape. So many struggle because they believe what departs was the source of their supply, the cause of their happiness, the root of their security. They hold tightly to people, jobs, possessions, and circumstances, fearing that if these are gone, they will be left empty. But the universe does not work through one channel alone. It has infinite resources, infinite streams, infinite ways of bringing fulfillment. When one channel closes, it is because another, larger one is being prepared. The subtraction is only appearance, the multiplication is reality. Think of a tree in autumn. The leaves fall, the branches seem stripped, the ground becomes covered with what once adorned the tree. To the eye, it looks like subtraction, a loss of color, a loss of beauty, a loss of fullness. Yet beneath the surface, roots are deepening, energy is being stored, and the promise of spring is already forming. When spring arrives, the tree does not simply replace what was lost. It multiplies into fuller branches, richer leaves, more abundant blossoms. What looked like decrease was only preparation for greater increase. So it is with the seasons of your life. When something is taken from you, it is not because you are being deprived. It is because you are being multiplied. If a friendship ends, it is to make room for companions of higher frequency. If a job closes, it is to guide you into work of deeper purpose. If finances seem to diminish, It is to prepare you for a flow of provision that is larger, freer, and less restricted. The subtraction is only a shadow. The reality is multiplication. Though it may take time for the outer world to reveal what the inner law has already set in motion. Every act of subtraction creates space. Space is never left empty. The law of circulation ensures that where there is space, something will move in to fill it. When you release old clothing from your closet, new garments soon arrive. When you give away books, new wisdom finds its way to you. When you let go of outworn beliefs, new understanding floods your mind. The universe abhors a vacuum, and what seems like emptiness is always the invitation for increase. To fear subtraction is to misunderstand its purpose. It is not the end of your good. It is the beginning of a larger outpouring. The human mind tends to cling because it wants to control supply. It says, I must hold on to this job, this person, this money, because if I lose it, I will have nothing. Yet clinging blocks the flow. When the hand is clenched tightly around what it has, it cannot open to receive what is greater. Subtraction prees open the hand. It loosens the grip on what is too small so that something larger may be placed there. The wise soul learns to open willingly, to release with trust, to bless what leaves, knowing that multiplication follows as surely as spring follows winter. It is in times of subtraction that faith is tested. When you cannot yet see the multiplication, will you still trust the law? When the field looks barren, can you still believe in the harvest? Faith affirms that unseen good is already forming, that greater abundance is on its way, that the multiplication is inevitable because the universe cannot fail in its principles. Just as you do not doubt the seed planted in the soil, you need not doubt that subtraction is only the planting ground for multiplication. There are countless testimonies in life of this truth. The person who lost a job and thought it was the end of their security, only to later step into work that paid more, fulfilled more, and brought more freedom. The individual whose relationship ended in heartbreak, only to discover new love that was richer, truer, and more aligned. The family who faced financial struggle, only to later step into a flow of provision they never imagined possible. In each story, subtraction was the doorway to multiplication. Without the first, the second could not have appeared. Subtraction also clears illusions. Sometimes you hold on to something because you think it is your only good. You build your trust in that single channel, forgetting that the source is infinite. Then subtraction comes, and the channel is gone. The mind panics, but the soul soon learns that good was never limited to that channel. New avenues open, new connections are made, new doors swing wide. The lesson becomes clear: the source is never gone, only the channel changed. Multiplication comes not from clinging to one source, but from opening to the infinite supply that can manifest in countless ways. Multiplication is not always in the same form as what was subtracted. If a friendship ends, the multiplication may not look like one friend being replaced with another. It may appear as an expansion of your own independence, the discovery of your own strength, the opening of opportunities that require solitude before companionship. If finances diminish, the multiplication may not immediately be more money. It may first appear as greater creativity, new ideas, fresh opportunities that later blossom into wealth. The multiplication always comes, but it often comes in unexpected form. The law works perfectly, though the manifestation may surprise you. The universe never subtracts without multiplying, because its nature is abundance. It cannot contradict itself. Abundance is the rhythm of life, woven into the cycles of nature, the patterns of the seasons, the growth of every living thing. A single seed multiplies into a field. A single drop of rain joins others to become a river. A single act of kindness multiplies into ripples that reach further than you can measure. Subtraction is never the end of the story, but simply the hidden beginning of multiplication. Only the right people and circumstances can remain with you. Life has a perfect order that cannot be broken, a rhythm that moves beyond appearances, guiding everything into its proper place. When someone leaves your life, when a situation dissolves, when an opportunity passes by, it is not failure, not punishment, not rejection of your worth. It is the natural law at work, clearing what is misaligned so that what belongs can stay. What is not truly yours cannot cling to you, and what is yours by divine right cannot be taken. The unfolding of your path ensures that only those who match your vibration, only those who honor your presence, only those who walk in alignment with your higher good will remain. This law protects you more than you know. Without it, your life would be cluttered with false attachments, stale connections, and burdens that weigh down your spirit. Every departure, every shifting circumstance, every unexpected ending is the invisible hand of guidance shaping your journey. You may feel pain when someone you love moves away, when friends turn distant, when a door you hoped would open stays closed. Yet if you could see the whole picture, you would understand their leaving makes space for something better. Their absence makes room for deeper presence, their silence makes way for truer voices. What remains is always what must remain, and what departs was never meant to be permanent. People often believe they must fight to keep relationships, hold tightly to every opportunity, or force circumstances to remain unchanged. But this struggle arises from fear, not truth. What is truly yours does not require force, does not demand begging, does not need endless effort to preserve. It stands with you because it is aligned with you. The right person does not drift away, the right opportunity does not vanish, the right circumstance does not collapse. These remain because they are woven into your destiny. Those that cannot remain reveal themselves in time, no matter how much you cling. This is not loss but liberation. When you look back, you can see it clearly. The friend who turned against you was not meant to walk into the fullness of your future. The job that slipped away was not capable of holding the expansion of your purpose. The relationship that crumbled was not strong enough to carry the weight of your becoming. At the time, you mourned, but later you saw how it all aligned. How the emptiness was filled, how the gaps were closed with something greater. The right people, the right places, the right experiences always remained, and they carried you further than you imagined. This truth allows you to rest from striving. You no longer have to prove yourself, chase validation, or fight to be chosen. The ones meant for you will recognize you without persuasion. The circumstances aligned for you will unfold without endless struggle. When you release the fear of losing, you discover that you cannot truly lose what belongs to you. You may lose the appearance of something, but never the essence. If a person, place, or opportunity is part of your divine design, it will remain or return, and if it departs, it is proof it was never truly yours. Trusting this principle requires faith. In the moment of departure, the heart aches. You may feel abandoned, unseen, or forgotten. But if you hold steady, you will witness the pattern. The false falls away, the true remains. Life never takes without replacing. Spirit never empties without filling. What is not for you is removed, so that what is for you may have room to dwell. To resist this is to prolong your suffering. To cling to what has already been released. To accept it is to flow with the rhythm of life, confident that what is aligned will stay. The right people are those who see your worth without needing explanation. They do not compete with your light, they celebrate it. They do not use your kindness, they honor it. They do not abandon you in shadow, they walk with you toward the dawn. The wrong people cannot do this, not because you are lacking, but because they are not capable. The law of resonance ensures that like attracts like, and as you rise, those not ready to rise with you must fall away. It is not cruelty, it is balance. You cannot carry everyone, nor can everyone carry you. The path narrows, and only those meant to remain will remain. The right circumstances are those that open naturally, without forcing. They unfold in harmony, they bring peace even in challenge, they align with your intuition. The wrong circumstances drain, confuse, or block growth. When these dissolve, you may feel the sting of disappointment, but later you see the wisdom. The right circumstances cannot collapse under pressure because they are built on alignment, not illusion. What falls away does so because it lacked foundation. What stays does so because it is rooted in truth. When you understand that only the right people and circumstances can remain with you, you release the need to cling. You stop chasing those who walk away. You stop forcing doors that refuse to open. You stop lamenting what has shifted. Instead, you bless those who depart. You honor the lessons they brought. You thank the closed doors for their protection. Then you turn toward the flow of life, open to receive the ones who are meant to walk beside you. The opportunities designed to elevate you, the circumstances prepared to expand you. The soul that trusts this principle becomes unshaken by change. Others may wonder at your peace when relationships end, when plans shift, when things do not go as expected. But you know the truth if it remains. It is right; if it departs, it was never meant to stay. You walk forward with confidence, free of fear, free of striving, knowing that what belongs to you by divine right can never be taken, and what is not meant for you cannot be kept. Life is not random. It is perfectly ordered, ensuring that only the right people and circumstances remain with you.